Recently, I made a new fursuit to replace the old one. I call it the Mark IV suit, and I'm going to tell you the story of how I made that fursuit in 4.5 minutes or less. There's going to be a little bit that I skip over where I was carving foam and went down some wrong paths with a different head. Starting with some concept art, I drew a quick picture myself, and then got some artist friends of mine to help refine the look until I came up with the design that I found most satisfactory, and get it to what I would need for the fursuit. So I went to Etsy, and I found a 3D printed fursuit face, and I started putting it together and figured out the design that I wanted from there. Once I got the initial head kind of pieced together, I started testing paints. I wanted to see just what they would look like on buckram and how difficult it would be to see through each of the different colored paints. Once I found two colors that I liked, I chose one for the gold and one for the silver. I tried to then use resin and silicone molds to make duplicates of the eyes, just in case I messed them up. That never quite worked out, so I stuck with the original eyes the 3D printed fursuit head came with. After I got that all set up, I went about making sure the moving jaw would work. I tried different ear sizes. I filled in the inner parts of the head with foam so that it would fit my head perfectly to a T. I went from getting that, I got the eyes set in the head. I found ears that I liked. I even got magnetic eyelids placed on. And then I started duct taping the head. Once the duct tape pattern was complete, I started trying to figure out other parts of the body. I figured out the hands first. I made a duct tape dummy of my body. I then used muslin fabric to make a pattern for my suit, since the paper patterns are difficult to work with, as are duct tape. I then backtracked and had some artist friends help me render the way that my head would look with the fur on it, so I could try to get a good pattern developed just from when the duct tape was on it. This is the pattern that I came up with, drawing directions of the fur and the way they would go. After I cut them apart, I had them separated, and once I received the fur, I then took those separated pieces, had them going the same direction of the fur as where the arrows were going, and I was then able to cut them out of the actual fur and later place them on the head. And I know that some of this is going to look a little bit creepy. I did put a lining on the inside of the head, and yeah, with the fur just kind of hanging off of it, it does look a little bit creepy, I know. But I was able to get it pinned down. I got it glued in the places it needed to go after I sewed all the fur together. And then I practiced on some cheap fur so that I could learn how to shave the head before I actually went ahead and started shaving my real fur on the face and the head. I started combing it in different patterns and ways so that I could try to figure out how I liked it to look. I got some hard felt, and I used that to make those little things around my eyes. I'm not entirely certain what they're called, but I thought they looked all right. After that, I went about making some feet. I carved the foam, put them on slippers, got my eyelids ready, and as you can see, it does look a little bit better with the eyelids on than without. I got everything marked out on the muslin as far as where the fur pattern would go. Everything was clipped together with mini clips. I then separated it, cut apart the different fur, and sewed it. The last thing I made was my tail, and then I was ready to go. This is the first fursuit that I ever made entirely myself. I made parts of the 3.0 suit, but this is the first one that I ever did entirely that was just me. What do you think?